All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for joining. I know some of you are joining this live right now. Welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for joining. We are looking very much forward to this Facebook Live. While waiting for other viewers to join us, I will very quickly say that some of you might know, some of you might be new here. The US Embassy has a space called the American Center. Our space is located inside the embassy, and we provide lots and lots of programs. Our overall mission is to explain the United States to Tunisians and to provide a platform for you to connect with Americans. So we do that through in-person events and virtual events. Today we are going live on Facebook to offer this event for you on this platform. So we are very happy that you joined us. We're also very happy to be doing virtual events. The transition has been nice and rich for us, and we are very happy to see that you keep coming. One of the pillars that we work on, very important, and we enjoy working on this a lot, is explaining the process of studying in the US for all of you. We know that a lot of people are very interested in studying in the US here in Tunisia, so we are fortunate to have the EducationUSA program as a source of information to make the process easier for you. The EducationUSA program is a program offered by the State Department, and we have an office here in Tunisia. It is located in Amid East, the Tunis office, and we have an educational advisor who advises and gives guidance on various topics related to studying in the US. EducationUSA is your official source of information anytime you are looking for the answer to your questions about studying in the US. A few housekeeping rules, since we are live now. We are using the Zoom platform here and streaming to Facebook. So all of you are joining us on Facebook, and thank you so much for joining. We're very happy to have you with us. So you will be watching this video live on Facebook, and then we will also have an interactive element to this session. We will have lots of questions showing up on your screen in the video, and you will be asked to take your second device if that is an option for you. We really hope that that is an option for you. So if you have a laptop where you can watch this live video, and then you have a handheld device, preferably a phone, where you can go to menti.com. You see the instructions here. Enter the code that you see in front of you, 16062, or capture the QR code if you would like. And that way you will be able to answer questions that will be coming throughout this session, okay? If you do not have a second device, that is absolutely fine. Please stay with us. You can use your same device to watch this video on Facebook on one hand, and then right next to that have another tab open or another browser open where you can, again, enter this code that you see in the video, menti.com, enter the URL, menti.com, and then enter the code 16062 so you can join the questions that will be popping up. All right? These are some of the housekeeping rules. And if you have any issues, you can comment on Facebook, and we have our colleagues in the background helping us with comments as well. Let's see what we have next. We have a question, and we are very curious where in Tunisia you are joining us from. 24 governorates, we have them all listed. This is the first question that we will be asking you to answer. On your second device, hopefully, please go to 16062. Go to menti.com and enter the code 16062, or capture the QR code if that's an option for you. And please answer the question, where in Tunisia are you joining us from? Some responses started coming in. This is excellent, fantastic. And I will take this opportunity to quickly say that since this event is virtual, and we are still connecting and working from home, actually. And so just in case you hear some background here or at the advisor's end, I'm going to hand the microphone over to the advisor in just a few minutes. Then if you hear any background noise here, just forgive us for that. You know, we're all in this together, and there are things in this environment at home that we cannot control. So thank you for your understanding. Okay. Again, for those of you who have just joined, please grab your second device or the same device that you have. Go to menti.com, which you can see in this live video. Enter the code 16062 and answer the question, where in Tunisia are you joining us from? We have the 24 governorates listed. Wherever you are joining us from, please let us know. Okay, so I can see that we have quite a few people from Ariana. Welcome. We have Nebel, Tunis, Sus, Benarus, Manuba. That is fantastic. Welcome to all of you. Thank you all so much for coming. We have 16 responses, and we know that we have quite a few more people watching this live. So we encourage you to go to menti.com, enter this code, and answer the question. We're gonna go ahead for the next slide here. Thank you all and welcome again. So when we talk about studying in the United States, there are 5 steps that you need to go through. What do you think is the right order? Again, back to your phones, menti.com or your devices, whatever device you are using. 16062 is the code. And please answer this question. You will need to rank these options that you see, which are, by the way, organized alphabetically here. They are only listed alphabetically, but in terms of the actual process of applying to a US university or several US universities, then there's a certain order that you have to go through. So please rank these 5 options on your device. Menti.com, the code is 16062. Code is 16062. And then take a guess at the order of these 5 steps. We can see that some responses are coming in. That is excellent. Okay, keep them coming. Just like you did for the previous question. The previous question was a multiple choice question where you had to pick where you are joining us from, the governorate that you are joining us from in Tunisia. This question is a ranking question. It's a different type of question. We are listing here the 5 steps to studying in the US. And we are asking you to take a guess at the right order of these steps. What is the thing that you need to do first? What is the thing that you need to do second, etc. Okay, that's great. So you are saying that the first step is research your options. Second is complete your application, etc. This is good. Okay, mostly spot on, mostly spot on. A lot of people confuse the second step with the third step, and that is very understandable, and that's why we are here. So actually the correct order of the 5 steps to studying in the US is as follows. Step number 1 is researching your options. Step number 2 is financing your studies. Step number 3 is complete your application. Step number 4, applying for your visa. And then step number 5, the last one, is to prepare for the departure. All right. Today's info session with the Education USA advisor is going to be about step number 1. So we are starting first things first, researching your options. We have a couple of subtopics that we will go through today with the advisor. First thing is defining your priorities. The second subtopic is narrowing down your choices once you have defined your priorities. The next subtopic that we will go through is we will hear from the advisor and get some guidance about undergraduate options. We know some of you are here because you're interested in undergraduate programs. And then the final topic or subtopic will be about guidance about graduate options. Again, some of you are joining because you're interested in graduate programs in the US. With that, I am going to hand the microphone to the Education USA advisor for Tunisia, and she will start with the first subtopic, defining the priorities. Over to you, advisor.
Thank you so much. So hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. So while researching your options, we want you to know that when you look for universities, you need to keep in mind your own priorities. So how you can check your priorities is by checking different elements and taking some of them into consideration while you are going on the university's websites and looking for the schools, whether you want to study after high school for undergraduate studies or for your master's or doctorate as graduate studies. So the first thing that you can check is the type of the school, whether it is a private university, whether it is a public university. Do they have the research that you're looking for? Are you looking for a specific major? Do you have special needs? That's also important to check whether the facilities are adapted to your personal needs. Something else to consider is the financial aid or the financial aid packages / scholarships. So it depends on the university. This differs from one university to another. You have more than 4,700 plus accredited US academic institutions where you can choose from. So the variety of choices is there. Check the university that best fits your needs. So the financial aid is one of the main elements or the main priorities that you should consider. Cost also is part of the research. So whether you want to check the tuition and fees, the personal expenses, the housing as well, should be part of the priorities. Whether you want to live on campus or off campus, the different prices for different offers. These information will be found on the university's websites. So check the universities, whether you're looking with any specific research engine or the name of the school, their websites, check the international admissions section where you're going to find whether undergraduate or graduate studies and see the different requirements. Majors is one of the second major or big element that you should take into consideration, because if you're going to study in the US, you need to check your personal academic priorities. What is the career path that you want to take? Do you have a specific academic field that you want to major in? So having that diploma in the US will enable you to open different doors, whether in Tunisia or internationally. So majors, whether you can study a double major or one major or have specific field of studies, please take that into consideration. Something else that is important is location. So the cost of a living or the living expenses or the tuition can vary from one school to another, but also from one state to another. So keep that in mind while you are looking for universities, while you are researching. Check if you want to study, for example, in a rural setting, if you want to study at an urban setting, if you're more comfortable in a suburban setting. So all of these elements should be personal and they can vary from one student to another. So please keep that in mind while you are conducting your own research. The major other thing, of course, while you're doing your research, you should, the third element that is very important is admissions. Admission requirements, they vary from one institution to another, but you have a general idea about standardized tests, recommendation letters, different application forms, different elements that you find in the university's website. And I know some of you have the opportunity to attend our previous information sessions, whether in person or virtually. There were different webinars that we host. We explained thoroughly the step one, researching your options, how you can conduct this, and what is the admissions package expected from different universities. So again, the thing that you should always go back to and check is the university's website, because they have the most updated information about their upcoming application dates or deadlines. Other students will want to focus on the activities and sports. So whether you want to apply for an athletic scholarship in addition to your academic one, or you have a specific activity that you want to follow, or that school is famous for a specific activity or field or sport, please keep that in mind so that you can check the universities that best fit your needs, but also matches your priorities.
Awesome. Thank you, advisor. So I see that the biggest priorities, the three biggest and main priorities, I guess, for everybody are financial aid, as we can see on this slide, and majors. And then the third one is admissions. The other priorities are also important. And as far as we know, they can be personal. So the next question that we have for everybody is the following. What are your priorities? These are the 6 priorities that are or can be personal. The 3 major priorities that we have talked about earlier are majors and financial aid and admissions. And so the rest are or can be personal. So back to your devices, please, and vote or distribute the 100 points that you have based on your own personal priorities. There's a bit of mathematics to do here, and that is good. We are making you think and applying some of your mathematics skills very quickly. So let's do that.
Nargis, this is very great. I just want to highlight that these sub-priorities or priorities, they're personal and they may vary from one student to another. Every student has his or her own unique special needs or special choices or preferences. So this order is very random. So I just wanted to highlight this. And whether it's the location, the housing, the type of the school or the cost, I think they may vary from one student to another. So we just want to hear from you. What do you think? Or what are your personal priorities? Along with the other main priorities that are like admissions, the financial aid, scholarship, and the rest, such as like majors and the academic degrees that you want to apply for.
Fantastic. We can see that some responses are coming in. Great. Various priorities. And then this graph that you see here is really only giving the average based on your responses. So we encourage you not to be influenced by what you see here. The priorities are personal when it comes to these sub-priorities, I think, and it really depends on your own priorities. So there's no right or wrong answer. We know that the 3 main priorities that should be prioritized by everybody are the financial aid and the majors and the admissions. So thanks, everyone. Let's see what we have next.
Great. So now, after we defined our priorities, we can move to the second part of the first step, which is narrowing down your choices. So while you are doing your own research, I always advise students to create a worksheet. It can be an Excel sheet, it can be a Word document, it can be a hard copy, but it's also important to keep track. I know that the number of universities from 4,000 something university to actually narrow it down to a list of 15 or 20 universities can take a lot of time, but sometimes the process can be a little bit overwhelming. So while you are researching universities, like with the different names, different requirements, different states, please keep track. It doesn't matter how you do it, just keep track and try to check the different requirements of the universities, like what is, if they have a certain cutoff score, if they have specific, I don't know, like specific major, if they have like any programs while we are doing that. And also take notes in your worksheets, because going back to your different drafts of university's worksheets, you will discover that some of the notes that you took like 2 weeks ago or a month ago are very relevant, and they will help you try to narrow down and filter your own lists. So we here gave you some of the tools that you can use to actually narrow down your choices. So again, the university's website will offer you the information needed. So whether you type in the name of the university or use filters by majors, using search engines as an example, we can put like top 10 universities for computer science undergraduate degrees. That can be an example of a research that you can start. You can know the name of the university, so you can type the name of the university, go directly to their websites. Something else that I always advise students to do, if the university on their website, if they offer virtual campus tours, please do that. It's a great opportunity for us to discover an American university campus. What is a dorm? What is the cafeteria? How do they get by from one building to another? What is like a classroom look like? So all of that, I think it's important to check like the libraries, the facilities, the dorms, and it can be a great tool for you to discover the university itself. Educational fairs, so hopefully now if you have any virtual educational fairs, so everything will happen online and virtually, so please stay tuned on our like social media and websites to learn more about these events that we may have in the future. Our EducationUSA Advising Center and our EducationUSA website, educationusa.state.org, can be very helpful for you to learn more. We give you additional resources and useful links to different websites and to different universities. So something else that we offer, please stay tuned and follow us to learn more about different sessions that we offer, like virtual webinars or information sessions, to learn more about different universities.
Awesome. That was insightful. Let's see. Now back to you, everybody. If you can go back to your devices again. If you have just joined us now, then please go to menti.com on your second device or open another tab and type any websites that you know of. And we can give examples later on. For this question, we just want to pick your brain on the websites that you might already know of, so you can share them with other people. Any websites that you know of that you go to when you are looking for universities to study in the US? Anybody?
Yes, we just want to highlight there is no correct or right or wrong answer. We just want to learn from you what are the websites that you use, if they are, what is like the most popular websites among students. So we can see here like niche.com, College Board. So far so good, big future. This is cool. So some of you are like high school students, and you're applying for undergraduate studies. College Board is a great resource for students, and Big Future also is affiliated to College Board. It can help you do like different filters, get to learn more about the universities, and to know like the deadlines, the requirements. Okay. Niche.com as well. I like Niche because sometimes it offers you the international acceptance rate for universities, so you have an idea about the financial aid package that they might offer. We also have Peterson's for graduate studies. I think this is good. YouTube, this is great. And I want to take this opportunity to mention that we have a YouTube channel, the Education USA YouTube channel, that you can go to check different recorded videos and webinars about the US studies, the application process, the five steps. So please, now this is great. Okay, our Education USA website, I think this is helpful. So a lot of students are checking our education website with its varied resources.
Nice, very, very good. Great, thank you everybody. Lots of options, good. Let's see what we have next. Back to you, advisor.
Great, so as you can see, a lot of you mentioned Big Future, College Board, so I'm very happy that a lot of students are using these resources and these websites just as the Petersons.com. So this is great because, as I said, whether it is the Education USA website, the Education USA YouTube channel, Big Future, College Board, Peterson's, Niche, and the list is long. We don't have like a specific one or two websites. You have a variety of websites. It depends on your research, but these are the most common ones as an initial first step.
Awesome. The next subtopic is going to be about, or giving some guidance about undergraduate options. Let's see.
Great. So as I mentioned before, while researching your options and looking for financial aid and scholarships, keep in mind for undergraduate studies, so this is relevant to high school students, for undergraduate studies, you have different types of scholarships. The most common ones are academic scholarships / merit-based scholarships, where universities focus on your academic GPA, and GPA, the grade point average, in our Tunisian system is going to be the moyenne générale in your high school years for the past like four years. They also look at the standardized test, which is the SAT, the Scholastic Assessment Test, as part of your holistic approach and well-rounded profile, but the main focus will be the competitive selective scholarship based on merit. Something else that you can check is the need-based financial scholarship. So some universities, such as some of the Ivy League universities, some of the liberal arts colleges, will offer international students need-based financial aid. This means that the university will fully meet your needs. They will cover all of your expenses. For more information about this, please check the university's websites or do a simple search about need-based scholarships for international students. So those of you who are interested in sports or athletic scholarships, you can check the NCAA website, where you can see which universities are offering the specific athletic sport or the sport that you want to apply to. So check if the university offers an academic scholarship plus the athletic scholarship.
Fantastic. And here I would just like to tell everybody who's watching and who is on their second device, menti.com, to please submit any questions that you might have at any point. If you look at your device, you will see here somewhere at the bottom, it says ask question. So if you click on that button, you can ask a question anytime you have something in your mind and you would like to address it to the advisor. We do have a Q&A session later on, but anytime a question comes to your mind, you don't have to wait for the Q&A session. You can submit it here through your device, menti.com, and we will display your question later on and we can answer it. All right? Some guidance about undergrad or graduate options now that we have gone through the undergraduate options. Again, some of you are here for undergraduate aspirations and others have graduate aspirations. So let's hear.
Great. So here you have different types of scholarships also for graduate students. A lot of you may have heard about different scholarships or fellowships. So a fellowship, usually it is required for graduate studies. So it can be a combination of a master's and a doctorate program or for a specific research period. Just check the universities and what are they offering. So sometimes they fully cover your expenses. Sometimes it's a partial tuition. Sometimes it's for a specific period of time. So please check, but you can actually research the fellowships for graduate studies.
Okay, we'll fix this one. Just a sec. Go on,
Great.
advisor, please.
The second option can be applying for graduate assistantship programs. So for graduate assistantship programs, you can apply to actually be a researcher or a graduate assistant or a teacher assistant, provided that the university offers this option so you can study and teach if they have teaching assistantships. And usually they offer you like kind of a scholarship with a stipend, and sometimes it can include tuition, living expenses. Usually this is the high percentage will be with STEM PhD candidates where they fully fund their programs. So STEM, we can, again, it stands for science, technology, engineering, mathematics. You can also apply to the Fulbright scholarship. Some of you may have heard about it, whether for a master's or a PhD research program. Our deadline, the deadline just closed it, I think in 25th of May. So some of you applied this year. Those of you who are interested, please check for the next year cohort and get ready if you want to apply for that scholarship as well.
Awesome. Thank you for that very rich insight. Let's see about the website. What's up with that, advisor?
Great. So as we said, our EducationUSA.state.gov website is a great resource, and I am happy that some of you mentioned it when we asked you about the questions. So we have different varied information, even updated scholarships and special opportunities from universities. I just want to highlight to you that American universities, they submit their offers for scholarships, tuition, specific opportunities, and we publish them and post them on our website. So please go there, check different resources, and get to learn about the process.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Now we are getting to the Q&A session of our event today. So we have 15 questions that have already been submitted. Everybody, if you are watching or viewing this event live on Facebook and you have just joined, quick reminder, go to your device, whichever device you have, handheld, laptop, phone, whatever, go to menti.com, enter the code 16062 and submit any questions that you have for the advisor about today's topic, which is the first step of applying to US universities, and that is researching your options in order to find the best university for you. Let's see. The first question, advisor, is saying, what's the difference between a college and a university?
This is a great question. So just to give you an idea, colleges offer only undergraduate programs. So in comparison to, or while universities offer graduate degrees, university also may offer undergraduate and graduate degrees. And in the US, they are often used interchangeably. So a college or university can be the same. Just keep in mind that colleges offer only undergraduate programs, while a university may offer undergraduate and graduate degrees.
Awesome. Thanks for the good question, whoever asked it. And thanks, advisor, for the answer. We do have quite a bit of time for questions, so I would like to encourage you to please submit your questions through your device, menti.com. This is a great opportunity to have the advisor with us and to answer any questions that you might have. We wanted to give as much time as possible for the Q&A session, so you can get the most out of this based on whatever questions you have in mind. And also, on your device, you can actually see everybody else's questions and you can upvote them. You can give them a thumbs up. That way we will know on the screen here that, okay, this question got 3 thumbs ups or 10 thumbs ups, which means that a lot of people have this question on mind. So please do that. Let's see, the next question would be, what is the academic calendar for universities in the US?
Great. So universities in the US usually they have the fall semester. So they start in August and they finish in May. And it is 1 year, 1 academic year. So keep in mind that from August to May, you will have 2 semesters, the fall and winter semester. And you need to succeed that year to actually finish or graduate or get to the next year.
Awesome, thank you. We're marking this question answered. Next question, there are so many schools in the US. How do I decide which schools to apply to? And I like the plural here, schools to apply to. It's not which school. That's good.
Exactly. So this is a great question because we advise you not to apply to one school only. You want to vary your chances to apply to multiple schools, whether it's like a dream school, reach school, or safety school. So keep in mind that you should be applying or looking for at least 5 to 10 universities. And the number of universities, again, it can vary. On the safety side, we advise you to do 5 to 10 universities. And also, how you're going to decide that is to actually take the time to research your options, to check what type of studies are you applying for, whether it's an undergraduate degree or a graduate degree, and check what matches your needs. So we will bring you back to researching your options and defining your priorities. So what is the financial aid, what is the cost, what is the majors, and it depends on your career path and also your academic preferences.
Awesome. Marking this question answered. Next one. What's the difference between a private university and a public one?
This is a good question. So usually a public university is known to be a state-funded university. It may offer you research, better or bigger research opportunities, while a private university has, like, again, the tuition is the same for everyone. A public university can be a lower tuition compared to a private university. And again, it's up to you whether you want to do an undergraduate or graduate program. Usually, international students will be looking for scholarships or financial aid. So it doesn't matter if it is private or public, as long as it meets your need, academic, financial, and career path needs.
Awesome, thank you. Next question, how do we convert our grades, basically French system, into a 4-scale GPA? Because some say all 15 plus grades are considered a 3.5.
This is a very good, good question. So the GPA, as we said, the grade point average in the US, the scale is out of 4. And in our Tunisian system, our scale is out of 20. So the good news is that you don't have to convert your grades. So whether it is the Tunisian system or the French system, you don't have to convert your grades. So universities, what do they ask from students is that you translate your transcripts. Transcripts can stand for, if you're in high school, les bulletins, whether you are in the French system or in the Tunisian system. So in the French system, you're required to have the three grades, 3 transcripts. And in the Tunisian system, of course, you're going to have the 4 transcripts once your baccalaureate year. So you don't have to convert your grades. You just need to translate them by a small translator, send them, and upload them in your application portal. That way, universities, if they review your profile, if they like your profile, they will do their own institution assessment and do their own professional conversion from the Tunisian grades, our French grades, the scale out of 20, to something similar to the international GPA. So don't worry about it. It shouldn't be your own burden.
Awesome. Thank you. Next one, can we get a full scholarship as international students?
Yes, questions about scholarships. So as I said, financial aid or scholarship packages vary from one institution to another, and you have to check the international students' scholarships availabilities. Some universities, as I mentioned, will offer you need-based, so they will give you a full scholarship, so need-based scholarships, and it depends on the university. Sometimes they have percentages of scholarships, sometimes they will offer you 90% or 95% of the scholarship, but the thing is to have a competitive and selective profile. So if you want to get a good scholarship, you need to stand out among the international students or the international applications. Universities will be looking for your good academic background, English language proficiency, your scores in the standardized tests, whether it is the TOEFL, IBT, IELTS, or the SATs, GREs, the different types of tests depending on the type of degree that you're applying for, but also the extracurricular activities, community service, leadership skills, leadership potential, all of that will be considered as part of your profile to be able to apply for a full scholarship. So keep in mind, it's very competitive and selective, and you want to try to vary your profile to have a well-rounded profile in a way.
Thank you so much. Next question. Can we apply for both athletic and academic scholarships?
Yes, this is a great question. So as I said, some universities, we can give an example, University X will offer you different academic scholarships based on merit. So they will want to check your GPA, your SAT scores, your TOEFL scores, but they offer, as an example, tennis as part of their athletic scholarship, and that fits your profile. So you can apply to the academic scholarship, and you can add to that the athletic scholarship, but check the requirements, and of course that sports need to fit your profile, so you need to show that you have like a good athletic background in that specific field here in your countries or respective countries. So universities' websites will offer usually 2 applications, an athletic scholarship application and an academic scholarship application, and you need to respect both deadlines. If you want any additional information about this, feel free to reach out to me. We'll give you my email afterwards, and we can have this as a follow-up individual one-on-one meeting.
Fantastic. Next question. Is the application for financial aid separate from the admission application?
These are great questions. So if you are applying to the admissions application, usually the financial aid application is part of your portal. but universities will ask you to fill in different financial aid forms. So it's a form, whether it is the CSS profile or the ISFA, so for the international student. I noticed that someone mentioned FAFSA at the beginning. I just want to highlight that FAFSA is only relevant to US or US citizens, so domestic students in general. So for us as international students, we need to fill in the CSS profile and the ISFA, so International Student Financial Form, along with our application, and universities will tell you how to submit those. Sometimes it's in the same portal, sometimes or in the same account, and sometimes they ask you to submit them separately.
Fantastic, thank you. Next question, is a recommendation letter essential? Because for undergraduate application, teachers in Tunisian high schools don't give recommendation letters.
Recommendation letters are part of your admission package, and universities usually require 2 or 3 recommendation letters from your teachers. I don't think it's true that Tunisian teachers, they don't give recommendation letters. You just need to ask them in advance, give them a background information about yourselves, about your activities, about examples. Your teachers should be able to write your recommendation letter based on your academic achievements, your leadership achievements, what you bring to the classroom, any additional projects that you worked on, what is your academic style. All of that should be part of your package. And Tunisian teachers, again, it's based on your own request. So please reach out to your teachers in advance, whether you are in the French system or the Tunisian system. And if you need assistance with explaining the process of recommendation letters to your teachers, please feel free to reach out to me. I would be happy to follow up with any teacher of yours.
Awesome, thank you so much. Next question, do all universities recommend TOEFL?
Great, I like this Q&A. So we have a lot of students, and I think 4 of them voted for this question. So the TOEFL IBT or the IELTS are part of the English language proficiency requirements. It is mandatory to have any English proficiency test result because we are non-native speakers, so English is not our first native language. Universities want to make sure that you have the academic English requirements to be able to follow up with an undergraduate or to study an undergraduate or graduate diploma. So it is required to have that test for admission. So they want to check your reading, your writing, and your speaking abilities. So fluency is part of the mandatory requirements.
Great, thank you. Next question. If you have a relative in the USA who can take you in charge, is the procedure different or not? And how do the studies fees change, or how would they change?
Great. So sometimes, yes, if you have a relative in the US and they can financially support you, that will be kind of your family budget. And you can reduce costs because you'll be living with them. You're going to reduce the expenses for living on campus. So for universities, you only have to pay for your tuition fees, so just like the school fees, along with the health insurance fees and of course the books. But when it comes to like the housing, room and board, and all transportation, all of that, I think you reduce drastically the cost. So just check the universities in your relative state and whether or not he or she can afford that, and check the requirements of the school. If this is very specific and you want to start the process, please feel free to reach out to me. I will follow up with you individually on this process.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Next question. How can we apply to MIT?
Ta-da! Just check the MIT website. So again, usually universities have specific deadlines, usually November 1st for early action, early decision, and the rest of it, you have different deadlines. So just go to the MIT website, check their requirements, like any other American university, of course, to see if it fits your needs, and check their deadlines, check their requirements, and you can start your process. If you want any additional help, you can feel free to reach out to the EducationUSA Advisory Center, and we will be happy to follow up with you on that.
Fantastic. Next question. When we say public schools, does this mean they are completely free?
No, just that public schools, they are not free. They have lesser tuition, so their cost of attendance is less expensive than private universities, but they are not free. It's not like the Tunisian system. So just, this is a great question. So they are not free. They are less expensive compared to private universities.
Great. Okay, this question came from Facebook, or was redirected to us from Facebook. What do we mean by admissions?
Admissions is being admitted to the school, so being accepted in that school. So admissions are going to be the requirements to be accepted to study in a specific school, whether for undergraduate or graduate studies.
Great. Next question. How safe are US universities?
This is a very good question, and I'm happy that some of you asked this. So American universities are safe, and they have like different campaigns to welcome international students. I encourage you to check that the campaign, You Are Welcome Here campaign, where they focus on different representation for international students, especially some of our students coming from the MENA region. So American universities are safe, and you can check that. You have different guidance, you have different platforms where you can see how safe the universities are, and you can also check their safety policy, especially with international students coming from the MENA region.
All right, we are going to go through the remaining questions a little bit quicker. We will try to do that. We are close to the end of the session. Let's see, the next question. I need an F1 visa in order to start the program I got into this fall semester, but the US Embassy in Tunisia is still closed. Do you have any idea on when it will reopen for non-immigrant visas? Go ahead, Celine, if you have something, and maybe we can comment as well as the US Embassy.
Yes, this is a great question. I just want to highlight that the F1 visa is the student visa. So if you want to study in the US, you will need the F1 visa. Any other visas, whether for an exchange program or for anything else, you need to check what is your program, whether you're applying for any other different type. We don't know yet when we will have the consular affairs section open to accepting visas. And I think, Nargis, if you want to follow up on this, maybe have like better guidance.
Yeah, I will just say that we do not have very clear updates at the moment, but stay tuned and keep following us, and maybe you can contact our consular section as well as the EducationUSA program to get guidance. Things are changing really fast these days, so good question. Maybe we do not have the exact very positive answer for you right now, but keep coming back with the same question, and at some point you will get an answer.
Nargis, if you want, maybe we can ask people to stay tuned. If you can have someone from the Consular Affairs office join us for a session to give people additional information about this.
Absolutely. So we saw that applying for your student visa is one of the steps when we think about studying in the US. So we will very soon have a session, hopefully, about this step number 4, which is about applying for visa. So please keep following us for upcoming sessions. let's see, the next question is, how do we convert, say, a 15 GPA in our system, okay, a grade of 15 in our system into a 4-scale GPA for the American system?
Yeah, I think we answered this question before.
I think we did.
Yes, so we already did.
Good. Maybe the person can watch the recording if they joined us later.
Yes, please.
Okay, next question. How do I know if a university is good or not?
Well,
priorities, maybe?
Exactly. This is very vague. So again, we encourage you to define your own priorities. If a university is good for me, doesn't mean necessarily that it's good for you. It depends on, again, your majors, your academic choices, your financial aid choices. So keep that in mind while choosing the right fit for you.
Awesome. Are there age limitations to attend a US university?
Usually you don't have age limitations. Just keep in mind that for an undergraduate studies, you are required to be like at least a high school age because it's just right after high school. Usually people apply when they are like 17 or 18 for undergraduate studies, but the rest for graduate programs, you don't have any age limitations.
Great. Can you please explain what a personal statement is?
Okay, so this question isn't really relevant to step number 1, researching your options, but yes. The personal statement is an essay that you are required to write to highlight your leadership skills, your academic skills, and universities require this in your application package.
Maybe we will go through this a bit more in upcoming sessions when we talk about completing your application.
Yes, definitely. And we can also offer a session about like tips and best practices for writing and drafting a very good personal statement or essay.
Great. How can we apply for a master's plus PhD program? Is this option available to do it hand in hand or maybe at the same time? If so, how to apply for a scholarship that covers both? Thank you.
This is a good question, and I think the slide about graduate fellowships and graduate assistantship programs will offer you this option, especially the graduate assistantship programs, where you can teach to finance your master's and PhD, and especially for those who are in the STEM field, so science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So check the universities if they offer these fellowships or graduate assistantship programs so that you can get the scholarship that covers your master's and PhD, but also you're going to help finance it by teaching or by doing research in a specific department.
Thank you so much. When do you recommend starting working on the application process? 3rd year in high school, 3e année, or 4th back?
This is a great question. So I can recommend like third year. Even before that, if you are in your 1st or 2nd year in high school, please start the process as soon as you can. During your back year, it's a little bit tough because you're going to be applying when you are in your 1st year undergraduate. So the best time is to apply in your 3rd year, even before your back exam, to hear back from universities to be able to finish on time.
Thank you so much. So I'm a master's degree graduate and I want to know more about the Fulbright scholarship and the language requirements. Do I have to pass the TOEFL? And if I have a chance to apply?
We will submit the Fulbright link in the Facebook group. So then you can check the different requirements for this opportunity.
Thank you. Can international students apply for loans to fund their studies in the US?
This is a very tricky question. We don't advise you to apply for loans because you are not holding US citizenship. And for you to get these loans, you will need a US co-signer. And it's not very encouraged for students, international students, to apply for loans to fund their studies in the US. We want you to apply for a scholarship or from your own, trying to bridge in the gap from your own family budgets.
Thank you so much. Does this pandemic have any effect on the acceptance rate and scholarships?
This is a great question. Actually, we are learning, we are taking this one day at a time. We have a lot of universities. It's not affecting the acceptance rate per se, but it is affecting sometimes. The good news, sometimes universities will not require certain tests, so they are test optional for those who cannot sit for certain tests. But check the university's website for additional information about this particular element.
Thank you so much. So I'm a master's degree graduate and I want to know more about the Fulbright Scholarship. I think we answered this one. Submitted twice. What is ISFA? And this will be the last question.
Last question. ISFA, and it's missing an A at the end. It's the International Student Financial Aid Financial Aid Form. So the ISFA, again, we can give you the link in the Facebook group. It is needed to submit an additional financial aid form to apply for a scholarship.
Great, thank you so much. These were all of the answers. We are done with the Q&A. Having said that, we would love to hear your overall assessment of this event. Again, if you can please go back to your devices, menti.com, enter the code 16062 if you have just joined us, and submit your overall assessment to us. Are you, was this event below your expectations? Do you prefer not to say? Has this event met your expectations? Or has this exceeded your expectations? Again, everybody go to your devices, menti.com, enter the code 1606 if you have just joined us. You can snap the QR code if you'd like, if that's an option for you, and then respond to the question, has this event, was it below your expectations? Do you prefer not to say? Did it meet your expectations or did it exceed your expectations? Okay, let's just get to 10 responses and then we'll move on. One more response. 11. Great. Most people saying this met their expectations and a couple said exceeded. That's great. Thank you so much. I prefer not to say. All right.
Okay. We like your feedback. So we know how to tailor our upcoming session. So thank you for submitting this feedback and assessment.
Absolutely. If you have any comments or feedback that you would like to give as well, you can comment on Facebook. All right, for our next Education USA info session, which step do you want us to cover? We have talked about step number 1 today, but we have explained that we have 5 steps. So which one do you want us to cover next time? Finance your studies, which is step number 2. Completing your application, which is step number 3. Or step number 4, which is apply for student visa, or step number 5, which is preparing for your departure. This is again for you, time for you to go to your device, enter the code 1606 if you haven't already, 16062, and please answer this question to let us know which step you want us to cover next time. Again, I'm just gonna wait for 10 responses and then I'm gonna show the results. Okay, drumbeat. Step number 2, finance your studies wins. All right, you have voted and we heard, so be it. Next time we will do an information session about financing your studies. Thanks, everybody. Okay, another question. Which platform do you prefer for these info sessions? Today we are using Facebook Live. In the past we were doing Zoom. So Facebook Live, it's a bit more public, right? For Zoom, it's a little bit more private. Maybe you want us to do both because we can do both at the same time. Zoom privately, but also stream it to Facebook at the same time. And then you can choose to join us on Zoom or to join us live on Facebook. Or do you prefer Google Meet, which is also another platform that we are considering? Do you want us to do Facebook Live or Zoom or both at the same time, Zoom streamed to Facebook Live, or do you want Google Meet? Today, we're only doing Facebook Live. Okay, not a lot of answers, but at least we know Google Meet is not an option so far. People are getting used to platforms these days, so responses might change in the future. All right, thanks. A couple more questions and we'll call it a day. When do you prefer that we offer our events during summer? Do you prefer them in the mornings or in the afternoons? Again, on your phones, you will find these two options. Just let us know if you prefer that we offer events during summer in the mornings or in the afternoons. So today's event was offered in the morning, for example. Okay, we have a bit more responses for mornings. Kind of expected when you ask people who are attending an event in the morning. All right, thanks everyone. Good. Next question, how long do you prefer these events to be? Today's event was 1 hour long, so 60 minutes, but we could do shorter events, 30 minutes, 45, or we can do longer events as well, 75 or 90 minutes. Again, please let us know. You can vote. Do you want this to be half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, 75 minutes long, or an hour and a half long? All right, so most people are saying either an hour or an hour and a half. Okay, that is good to know. Again, heard. Now to follow our upcoming info sessions, please make sure to follow us on Facebook, follow the US Embassy Tunis on our Facebook page, and make sure to click on See First, set your following to See First, so you can get notifications about our announcements firsthand when you open your Facebook. Please do the same thing for EducationUSA Tunisia, the page on Facebook as well. Follow the page and set your following to See First. That way you will see our announcements about the upcoming info sessions first thing as soon as you open your Facebook. If you prefer email notifications about our information sessions with the EducationUSA advisor, then on your device, please enter your email address and click submit. And we will make sure to add you to our mailing list about studying in the US. That way you will receive information every time we do an event that has to do with studying in the US. Most of these events are delivered with the EducationUSA advisor. Some of them might also cover some of our exchange programs, the exchange programs that are offered by the embassy, such as the Fulbright program, which one of you or some of you have mentioned in the questions earlier. That is it for today's information session. Thank you so much to the advisor for the excellent insight and for answering all of the questions very thoroughly. Thank you all very much for joining us, for viewing this event on Facebook. We really hope that you found value and that you enjoyed the interactive element in today's event. And we wish you all the best in applying to US universities. And we hope to see you again if you need more guidance about studying in the US. Have a great day, everybody.